Now we're down to 75 days. We've decided we are going rotary in the Madmac. We've got wiring, we've got to figure out what we're going to do with ECU, body kit. I've got to fly to Japan. We've got a lot to do and no time to waste.
The challenge? Turn one of the world's most iconic hypercars into a drift car in just 100 days in time for its unveiling at Goodwood Festival of Speed. In episode 1, Madmac ripped the car to bits. He totally rebuilt the steering system and made the brave decision to ditch the McLaren V8. Now, with just 75 days to go, there is still a vast amount to do.
We have decided that we are going rotary. This was never the plan with a 100-day project. We've just made a whole lot more work for ourselves. The motor I've landed on is the 20B. So very similar to what we see in the Bad Bull RX-8. The 20B, arguably the best sounding rotor of the fleet. If we've measured it right, we've got like a millimeter to play with. We now have to strip every single part out of this car and figure out how we're going to fit the motor in. Back end of the car, there's a ton of stuff in the way. So the knife needs to come out. There's no turning back when these tools come out, eh? We need to move some of these bars. First cut. Oh, I just cut through a McLaren. Oh, I just cut through a McLaren. This might be my new favourite tool. Being such an expensive car, I definitely don't want to cut the wrong thing out. Cool, that's the cutting done. So 20B the world, let's go. One of the scariest parts of this project is the ECU. The ECU is an engine control unit that actually controls every single thing in this car. The McLaren one is very limited in what we can do. If we want to have anti-lag, we want to have flames. What we're considering right now, potentially putting a Haltech into this car. Haltech is our official ECU supplier for all our rotaries, all my drift cars. It is a big risk. I've called Haltech. They're actually going to fly down from Australia. Here he comes, look. He's found the Haltech shelf. Haltech have found the Haltech shelf at the Mad Lab and see whether we can use the harness, or the wiring harness which is in the car, and simply re-pin out the plugs to go into the ECU. Well, that will give us then full control. The con is if it's not a simple pin out to change the plugs, we are literally going to have to rerun every single wire on this car. It's a big risk.
There's a separate module in the vehicle somewhere that's solely responsible for controlling the transmission, right? If you were to put a Haltech in it, well, the Haltech's not going to talk to this unit.
It's just then we're starting from scratch. I don't know, wiring's way out of my league.
For context, the average car's ECU is connected to 4 kilometres of wiring. If they can't use the McLaren ECU, then they're looking at the equivalent of a brain transplant and the massive job of replacing the entire wiring loom.
In terms of a time frame perspective, you'd be better off to strip it and start again.
This is not the answer Mike was hoping for.
It sounds like after today's discussion that all the stuff is just going to go. Otherwise, we're trying to hide little sensors because the steering wheel has a CAN system in it as well. Otherwise, this car just would not run. As soon as one plug is undone, it won't run and it will just come up with a fault on the dash. We're going Haltech. So Haltech Nexus R5. If there was some sort of fault code, we've got a helicopter in the sky, they're calling action. If there was any fault, we can easily plug into it with our laptops, find what the fault is, find the problem. However, that's just a lot of work. So now we have a plan for the ECU. It's now time to try to figure out how we're going to adapt the gearbox to the motor. Action! Action, we're into it. The factory V8 twin turbo setup is out. The dummy block is ready to go in. The biggest task is adapting this to the X-Track sequential gearbox, because this is your factory RX-7 bow housing, which is huge. Adapting this is not going to work because it's far too big and it's going to push this motor into the cockpit, so that's not an option. So right now, we're going to go see our CNC guy. Okay, so we've just arrived Blair at JWB Engineering. So now we're going to make this adapter plate, see if we can connect the dots.
Basic mechanics. There are two main elements in a drivetrain, the engine and the gearbox. The McLaren engine and the McLaren gearbox get along like peas and carrots. The rotary engine, on the other hand, has never, in the entire history of engineering, been connected to a McLaren gearbox. In order to get these two talking to each other, they're going to need the engineering equivalent of speed dating. There is simply no blueprint here. What Mike and JWB are attempting is a world first. To be successful, it will require not only a ridiculous level of precision, but also the strength to transfer 1,000 horsepower from the motor to the wheels. Oh, and it needs to be done in 5 days for Mike to keep the build on track.
We ideally wanted it about 50 mil, but it's worked out to be 90.3 to be exact. That's going to push the motor really freaking close to our fuel tank. Our plan and the parts we've ordered, this is going to fit, and we're going to use 3-pump radium setup that they've custom made for us up in the States, so that's on its way. It would be a very big job to be able to swap that out, but yeah, time will tell. He's just eating through it. Wow, that's a freaking thing of beauty. So that's a key part to obviously connecting our gearbox to the motor. Oh, look at that, Kiwi ingenuity. Rotor swap a McLaren. And there we go, just like that. We have the bow housing off the McLaren, the adapter, and the backing plate of the Rotang. I just can't wait till this afternoon now to see what it looks like in the engine bay. Carry this on my lap while I drive all the way back and head back to Mad Lab. Time is not on our side.
Back at the Mad Lab, and expert mechanical engineer Alec is fitting the new adapter plate, while Mike creates the custom engine mounts to hold the rotary in position. This is the moment of truth. Will the rotary dream become a reality?
I'm just more worried about stuff shaking off the freaking shelves. The saw was my favourite tool the other day, but I think I might go back to the old trusty. Yeah, one rotary cross member for a McLaren. You ready to bolt that sucker in yet or what? Woo! Oh, there's 5 mil on that. Yes! It fits. I love it when a plan works. What a swap from that big paperweight to this beautiful precision piece of art. So just when we get the rotary sitting in there, first box of genuine Mazda parts has showed up, so thank you Mazda for the support. But we need a lot more parts than this. Here's our list. Oh mate, as you can see, ordered, ordered, ordered. So now's the big waiting game.
Box of parts. Let's see what we got.
We got some paper.
We got hoodies. This week is gonna be a lot of stuff coming in the doors.
We have packaging and more packaging. Oh, gaskets.
It's gonna be quite an exciting week.
Your time machine's at the door.
Oh, we got a new tire machine. Al nearly left the room. Lots of stuff from Japan, USA.
Oh, here's our frickin' sender.
So this is our fuel setup that Radium have made for us.
The only way a rotary engine can produce more power, more noise and shoot the flames that Mike is famous for is by sucking in fuel faster than an F14 under full afterburner. But the McLaren fuel pump that worked for the original V8 won't be able to deliver enough fuel to the engine for Mike to drive the way he wants to.
We've just assembled this, made a plate. We've got a triple pump setup that'll bolt down and pick up the bladder. You can see the factory filler. We've got wiring here that'll go to the Haltech. That's going to give me on the dash readout of how much fuel is in it. Good for as much horsepower as we can throw at it. We're now sitting inside my new office, just looking. I've got no shifter, no hydraulic handbrake. I don't even have a round steering wheel. Even if I made the steering wheel round, if I was to catch it mid-drift, I don't actually now know if that's an upshift or a downshift. So we need to pull this shifting setup out of the steering wheel and somehow have a shifting mechanism down here that I'm used to. Well, look what I got.
Oh, sorry you guys had to see that.
That's off my simulator at home. Data. Surely that's going to send a signal. I'm freaking mounting it before Al comes back. I'm climbing in. Oh, I mean, look at that. Boom, boom, boom. We also need to mount a hydraulic handbrake, which is going to lock up our rear wheels. Yeah, we've got a lot of work now cut out to make myself comfortable so I can be able to put this car where it needs to go on the track.
We got one handbrake for the McLaren.
So hydro handbrake, what this does, when you're a kid on a BMX bike and you boost down the hill and just rip your brake and do some big skiddies, well, that's exactly what this does. One of the best cheat codes to drifting is a good handbrake. And then our Moza shifter, which we're gonna mount right about there. Very nice office. Quite a few offices, and this is quite luxury. Feels very fast just sitting in the bloody thing.
And while Mike's settling into his new office, the formidable task of rewiring the entire car has begun.
We've got Ryan here, OCD, so he's I would say got the hardest job of this whole thing and trying to figure out the brains. I think the best part is that we've actually eliminated the whole McLaren ECU. Ryan's starting from scratch, so we've pulled all the wiring. He's got the biggest task in hand because he's literally got to run all the wires.
You can't easily fix any of this stuff, so one little mistake, you know, and you could easily lose an engine. It has to be done properly.
So we're running with a Haltech R5. It's going to run twin PT16s, and then it's just literally running all the wires. Got some good confidence now. Cosmetics. We've sent 3D scans to Miura-san. Last night he just sent me through some renders and it's looking freaking incredible. I'm heading up to Japan and I'm going to bring you guys for the ride. All right, what's up? We are now in Japan. This is Kyoto and this is the home base for Miura-san of Rocket Bunny. So we're here because we're going to now design the body kit that's going to go onto the McLaren. Ohayou gozaimasu! Miura-san! I smell fiberglass. I see cool scooters. Ohayou gozaimasu! O genki desu ka? We need to make this McLaren aggressive. We need to change the aesthetics. I've got a vision, so now we're going to sit down with Miura-san and we're going to create it on the artwork, show you guys the process.
Ahead of arriving in Japan, Mike supplied the team at Rocket Bunny with full 3D scans of Madmac. Now, world-renowned body kit expert Kei Miura-san is designing a custom body kit with all of the details and intricacies that will transform the already incredible P1 GTR bodywork into the outrageous, head-turning, traffic-stopping, eye-popping drift hypercar that Mike has been dreaming of.
We're just going to get the rolling circumference of the tyre that we're going to run. 235. Maybe front, Neju. It's okay.
Okay?
Yeah. I want Sanju.
分かってるけど、でバランスが。
It's always a fine balance, you know. So we're working with Miura-san, obviously designs. He's thinking like aesthetically. I'm thinking for me, like I'm wanting the back a little bit lower of a radius to the front because on the front's always full lock and steering. But when it's static, of course, it is going to look a little bit different. So we're coming to a happy medium between. Looks awesome. Very cool. Miura-san will set up the files, goes to the polystyrene and the CNC. So this is where it all starts. So what this is creating here is making the mold. So it looks like this will be a rear fender. Then it comes up to these guys. We'll smooth everything out and get the lines exactly perfect. And then from there, they'll fiberglass over that and then that creates a perfect mold. All hand laid. Hence why this Rocket Bunny stuff fits perfect. If your body kit doesn't fit perfect, if it's not kampeki, it's not genuine. Support genuine, because look at these boys. Hey, doing all the hard work. Like I say, I've been working with Miura-san for well over 10 projects now, many, many years, always creating something unique. Otsukare-sama desu. We're building a McLaren that we want to do something really unique. Well, this is the final part, the cosmetics that I always enjoy the most. At the end of the day, I always leave it up to Miura-san to do the finishing touch because this is what he does best and this is why he's the world's best. So now totally out of our control. It's up to Miura-san. Once he's finished, then it goes into the shipping, which is out of both of our control. It's usually the most stressful part as we've seen from all the parts. And yeah, it's going to be right down to D-Day. Since I've been gone for 4 days, come and have a look what's happened in the actual McLaren itself. God, look at that. So we've got our Moza shifter all done. So we've pulled that apart because we couldn't get the signal from the factory little wiring harness that came out of it. So what we've done is fabricated some little brackets, put some micro switches on there, pretty much the same as what was on our McLaren steering wheel. That'll plug straight into the Haltech. I've just noticed our custom boss kit has also showed up, which changes it to our 6 stud pattern. Holy hell, look at that. We've got our 900 degrees of rotation. Oh my gosh, look at the freaking knuckles. Handbrake, shifter, and the best thing is we've been able to have it so when I pull the handbrake, always love to have it so you can just literally after a handbrake is a downshift. So because I don't even have to tension against teeth because it's an electronic signal, I can drive it like a simulator where it's just tapping for downshift. I can see I'm still probably going to break it. We've got the Haltech keypad, we've 3D printed a little mount for that. The dash, we've 3D printed a mount that fits perfectly in there. So this now is my seating position, and that feels perfect. Wow, that's a huge part of this project complete. Very happy. All right, we're now at the 50-day point. We're halfway through this project, and this is the point of no return because we have cut a lot out of this car. We've stripped a lot out of this car. We've had a lot of deliveries. We're waiting for a lot of deliveries. We're hoping that our engine parts show up so we can get that assembled and figure out how we're going to get that thing into the car. We just got a lot to figure out, so I'm getting back to it. We'll see you on the next one.